just bought this house last week. Haven't really, well, I absolutely have done nothing to it so far. But we're gonna take a look and kind of see where things are at. Start devising a plan. Unfortunately, I lost the key. The seller had actually given me the key, handed it to me, and said don't lose this. About 3 seconds later, I dropped it on the ground. So that tells you how responsible I am. Luckily, I think that we can get in here one way or another. This is a trick I learned in my hoodlum days, you know, back before I was in real estate. Christ. We almost lost the whole window. Welcome to this episode of Cribs. I actually learned long ago you should never open up the fridge, but I'm still curious. All right. There's nothing dead in there. Then we got some bedrooms upstairs. I see potential. I see a lot of potential. We'll see. It depends on how much it ends up costing to finish.
You guys just flipping it?
If I'm able to keep it and the numbers work out, then what I'll do is I'll fix it all up like I was gonna flip it, but I'll keep it and put a renter in there.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my, my main plan. That's what I would like to do with it. If the numbers don't work out, I'll just pass it on to one of my investors who will probably fix and flip it.
As long as the roof doesn't have moss on it anymore, I'll be happy.
Oh well, it needs a little bit more than that. So it'll look nice and pretty, just like the rest of the homes here on the block in no time. What were the tenants like that were in here before? You live across the street,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Secluded.
All right.
Order-ish.
Okay. Anything good for me to know before we get started with the project?
So,
any insider knowledge?
I can give you one insight into this place.
Okay.
They have been messing with this water system for the last 2 years.
Really?
Turning off the water. I guess the spigot doesn't work that was out here, even if it's still there.
Yeah.
What it was, I don't know.
Sure.
But over the last 2 years, I've saw them come out, and I'm not home a lot, and I saw them turn off the water a dozen times at least, trying to work on stuff. Dig up a couple spots.
Gotcha. Well, I know there's a lot of dry rot underneath it, and then the walls and stuff, so I'm sure there's plenty to be found.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm Brian, by the way.
Anthony.
If you need anything or whatever, just holler.
Just keep an eye on it. I should throw you my card, that way you have my number in case. You know what I do think about is whenever there's like no trespassing signs and stuff out, like that's whenever people are like, oh, it's vacant.
It is one of those double-edged swords.
So I'd almost be better off closing all the blinds and leaving a light on in there somewhere. And
mind if I ask what you paid for it?
Do you want to guess?
Well, they were asking $150, so I hope you didn't pay over $125.
55.
Are you serious?
Swear to God.
Okay.
But I want to keep it. It's my retirement plan, man. Especially when I know I got a good neighbor across the road that mows his lawn.
We'll be here a while.
Yeah. So now that we've had the tour of the inside, I've gotten stopped by 3 different neighbors now asking me about the house. So that tells you obviously we're doing a good thing. We're doing a good thing for the community by buying these places and fixing them up and doing something with it. So first of all, I want to let you know how we came across this deal. This wasn't online, this wasn't in the paper, this wasn't on Craigslist. There was actually just a little for sale by owner sign out front, and it had been out there for probably, I don't know, 60 days or something like that. I had just finished a refi on another one of our investment properties, and so I had the cash. And I was like, you know what, I need to start looking for the next project. That one over in that nice neighborhood that I like, that's had that for sale by owner sign out front, like I need to give them a call. So I looked through my pictures on my phone, because I had taken a picture of it, so I knew it was in there somewhere. And I found the number, and I call her, and I hadn't walked through it yet, but she said that she was gonna need $150,000. She started showing me around. She kept saying things like, we thought about tearing it down. Did you get that? Whoa! We've thought about tearing it down. We know it's not worth a whole lot. We know we don't have the Taj Mahal, blah, blah, blah. Even though they were asking 150. I was starting to get the vibe that she would take less. She needed a starting point. I think I offered her like $63,000 to start. She called and we talked about it, and she's like, realistically, what's the most you can do? And I was like, you know what? I think the easiest way of going about this is just being honest with you. My numbers came out to where I couldn't pay any more than $75,000 and this worked for us. Let's do it. And she's like, actually, we'll even do 70. I didn't expect that. But anyway, so we locked it up for 70,000, which is less than half of what she was asking. So the moral of the story is you never know what someone's gonna do until you come out here and you try. And the bottom line is, you know, after we had the inspection and we found out some of the work that was going to be needed, there's a lot of water that had leaked into the walls, so there's a lot of dry rot that we're going to have to take care of. We ended up getting the property for $55,000. So $55,000. Hopefully I have the budget that we can fix this up. I mean, one way or another we can figure it out, fix it up. And my overall goal for, you know, retirement is to have as many of these things as possible, and we could put a renter in this and make a decent return on it on a monthly basis. We're actually here today because we're gonna film a commercial for the investment company, just kind of using this as the backdrop, you know, like, hey, we bought this house, you know, we buy houses that are problem properties, blah, blah, blah. And you know, get the most out of it, whether we wholesale it or whether we keep it and add it to the rental portfolio. So anyway, I'm excited for it. At $55,000, I think we could get away with $60,000 or less. Be 115 into it, have like a $700 mortgage, and something around in this neighborhood would rent out for $1,200 plus, especially after this thing has $60,000 put into it. It's gonna be a nice place. So I'm excited, great return. Always go on the appointment. You never know what somebody's gonna say. I mean, I found this on a FSBO sign that obviously no one who had called on. It was up there for 2 months, and I was the first person who looked at this property. And you know what, I really just think it's because that was the only way it was advertised. It was on this, there was actually tenants in it that whole time, so it really did look like trash. You just never know. You know, make those calls, build those relationships, and make the offer, because you really never know what someone's gonna do. She told me $150,000. We got it for 1/3 of that. That's crazy. So anyway, I'm excited about it. We'll be keeping you in the loop on how things go as we start getting it fixed up. I know the neighbors are excited.